That's not an option. How y'all doing? We back. We back with another episode. This episode gonna be called After the Lockup with Milon Lewis, the Milon Lewis. Um, I'm gonna start off with basically asking you, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, my name is Milon Lewis, aka Jersey. You know what I'm saying? I was born and raised in Northern Jersey. Came to Ohio in '95. Was in Akron. About 20 years. Caught about 4, 5 numbers in there, and then just caught a Fed bit, bank robbery. Came home. I've been home for about 8 years now. I've been home since 2018. And been living in Cleveland ever since. Cleveland's like my new city.
Okay. Did you grow up in a single parent household or a double parent household? Like if so, like how did that affect you just coming up as a youngin?
I grew up in a single parent household. My mom was a professional. She worked out at it all the time. She made money, so I didn't grow up. I just didn't have any guidance. My mom wasn't there. My grandmama raised me, and like that. And how it affected me is I was the only child, and I really, dudes was like really tribal. So when I went out to go outside and play, man, they was cruel. They took my shit to beat me up, and they chased me. I was really bullied. You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn how to fight early, and I had to learn how to fight large groups of people. You know what I'm saying? And it was pretty difficult for me growing up. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of like appreciate it because it made me hard motherfucker.
Yeah, but how was your emotional intelligence at that time? Like emotionally, how did you understand your emotions? Like, did you even know what to do with them or how to deal with them or know when to talk about them?
No, at that time I was ruled by anger and fear, and I was afraid. And most kids at that time, we just we didn't tell that we was afraid. I just had to deal with it. I was in fear when I was going to school, coming home from school. Anytime, I wasn't supervised or anything like that. The kids, they knew they had a lick and they would try me, you know what I'm saying? As I got older, my interest in school waned. I didn't really go to school. It affected my education. I really tried to miss as much school as possible. So when I was growing, I really didn't learn. I didn't hit the milestones that other kids was reaching. And then after that, after a while, you get left behind in school. They start sending you to other schools. Well, other kids are bad influence. You know what I'm saying? So that was really bad too, because I'm around other kids that's like really not a positive influence. They they getting in trouble, and so I just went downhill.
Right. So when and how did you catch your Fed case? And how many years did you do exactly?
Well, I wasn't a good drug dealer because I'm not really a real traditional street person. Like I think street people are like people who are come from disadvantaged families, and they make an adjustment and they make a hook. But most families usually, they usually produce their own, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, if you grew up in the streets, but those people are usually the people that's calm and they have a more, level-headed approach to it, you know what I'm saying? But, I was in because I ain't not right now getting no jobs. In some way I had to get money. So, all my friends that sell drugs, they used to stand out there with them and try to sell dope and stuff out there. And, I really wasn't good at it. And the only thing I was good at was robbing people, you know what I'm saying? And I started off strong arming people, and I worked my way up. Get a little pistol and rob them here and there, rob a store here and there. You work your way up to a drug dealer here and there, and then after you get tired of that, you try to go for the for show money, it's bank money. Once I got with that, and you get over the fear of that, man, that bank money, man, that was sweet. That was the sweetest money. That was almost
Right.
like guaranteed. I
Right,
couldn't stop
right.
it. I was doing it for so long that, the laws of average catch up with you. If you keep doing crime, this point blank, they're gonna catch you. I mean, it ain't no way. If I would have did this and turned left and all that, you ain't gonna commit crime your whole life and think you're gonna make it. There ain't no retirement
Right.
in the crime
Right.
band,
How long did you do in the Feds? How much time?
I did 155 months. It was 13 years.
Shit.
Yeah, 13 years.
13 years. How did that after you got out, how did that change your emotional intelligence? Did it grow? Did it falter?
It,
You know?
I don't say it changed me for the better or the worse, but it definitely changed me. The feds is real political, and you can't make impetuous decisions there because it can cost you your life. You're surrounded by competitors and enemies, and your own homies hold you to your code. So it ain't like how in the streets that you can say you whatever. You can say you this and say you that, and you live by this code. But if you break the code, your homies gonna give you a pass because they love you, and but they'll, you know, what I mean, we
Right,
already
right,
know. But in the penitentiary, you it ain't none of that.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So dudes, if you doing shit that you ain't supposed to be doing, they coming to stab you up. And being under that scrutiny, being under that type of tension, it changes. Like you can't be slipping at all. You got to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
always.
yeah, yeah. I can tell because, like, even now, you always watching your
Yeah,
surroundings. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You always making sure that you on point,
yeah,
no matter where you at, no matter what situation you in.
yeah.
And I could tell. I don't know if it's growth in emotional intelligence or if it falters because I don't know if being on point that way is an emotional thing. I don't know if it's a mental or emotional thing. And I'm starting to feel like it's more mental. Like, how did that change your mental before? How was your mental before you went into the feds, and then how did your mental change after you got out?
Before I went to the feds, I was generally a fun person. I wasn't serious. I wasn't uptight. After the feds, it's like being on the battlefield, being in the military. You got PTSD. You high strung. You seen people die in the worst way. You
Right.
seen moves and you seen political moves where you seen like, damn man, that dude didn't see it coming, and you know it was real tough. You know what I'm saying? And it's not most people. Some people go through it, you know, and you know, but some people it affect them. It affected me too. I was institutionalized, and I still got penitentiary ways. Man, it took me a while just to stop wearing shower shoes in the shower. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it was kind of like wait, you know, and then talking to people and having conversations and stuff like that. It affects you all the way, like you know what I mean, and it make you apprehensive and not trusting in the next person. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
like you got to gear down because first of all, in the penitentiary we don't mess with no strangers. So you won't be able to operate, and that's hard to operate. And the gang, being gang, socializing the gang is like that because first of all, the politics is gang politics.
Exactly.
So don't matter where you from or where you at. When you go to the jail, you're going into the gang politics. So it doesn't matter what gang you're going to know about all of it anyway. So it doesn't make a difference. So the gang politics is basically it's about influence. You know, some people get voted off the island the worst way. Some people do, and then you know they get the gang banging aspect. To me, is where I think that we're losing at because I don't think that we're actively gang banging. I think
So,
we're being
so to exactly what you was about to say with the game banging, like since you've been out, it's completely different. Even
yeah
me, I'm 27,
yeah
and it's completely different for me to see exactly what gang banging is and how these kids are moving
yeah.
nowadays. You know what I mean? Especially going overseas and everything that you know what I mean that changed my perspective on life. Like, how are you out of the feds? Walking around, working, normal society, you doing what you got to do. How are you yourself dealing with the pressures of society now with these young guys running around? Wow, you know, the way they living is different. Like, what advice can you even give them to tell them and be able to teach them, you know, to step away?
Well, I I can say this right here, like I ain't never wanted, even when I was in the streets to commit crime, I never wanted to be an agent of destruction of my own, you know, community.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the reasons why I even stepped into the bank robbery role. And because, you know, I was kicking open doors to dudes and I didn't like that. I didn't appreciate taking from my own.
Right.
And what happens is when you are in a condition, it's not enough for everybody, and you got huge amounts of people, and you see that you don't have enough resources, or there's not any information there to get you to the resources that you need. You tend to try to like fight the nearest person that's next to you because you like it's like bad conditions. So you fall out, but that's a natural biological response to a very unnatural condition that we're being put in.
So you're saying the environment, the society that we put in now, is mainly what's causing the destruction in the society today. It's
Yeah.
what we coming outside and seeing. It's not really much inside the household. It's more so what the kids getting outside the household,
Yeah.
what they seeing on TV, what they hearing on the radio. Then they come in and they see family members that's what you would call living that life.
Yeah.
So for them, it's a little different. You know, parents are doing 100% what they can, but outside the household is so different because even when I was growing up, they used to say, you know, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
They used to say all the time, and now I never hear it. It's like that village has disappeared, that society has disappeared. Like, what can we do? What can you do, and to enhance the society we live in now, to change the society we live in now? What can we do to change that?
Well, what we have to do is, as men, as a man, I mean, I can't speak on the woman part. I only speak on the men. Men, we have to change up because we have to get out this thought process of it ain't mine or that ain't mine. We got to take responsibility for our negligence. And when I'm not speaking, to judge anybody, it's for me. You know, I got locked up for 13 years. My mom, you know.
We talked about that before.
Yeah. Somebody else raised my kids. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else raised my son. My son was angry at him, and I had to tell him. I said, I know you probably didn't get the emotional love that you did, but the dude took care of you, man. Took you some principles and shit, and then you wasn't in the street.
Yes,
you know
sir.
What I'm saying? We honor the wrong shit, and the reason we honor the wrong shit because the wrong people is around us spitting shit to our kids. So you know what I'm saying? So you might be at work and you trying to take care of it, but you got your sister and she's not serious. You know what I'm saying? She never left the party. It's, at 16, she's now, 30. It's like, man, that was 14 years ago.
Right,
the party
right,
ended.
right.
She's still in the club and stuff. But she the one that you leave your daughters and stuff around, and she turning it up, and so your kids think it's okay to say hey.
Exactly.
It's censorship is needed. You don't want to influence. I mean, you don't want your kids to grow up stupid, so they know what's going on. You gotta let them know, like, yo, man, this is what's going on. This is
Ignorance. Yeah.
This how it was when I was there. So it might look a little bit different, but this is how the hook is.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you don't want to expose them to stuff that's not really particularly, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you a lot. I was a big hoe. I liked to sleep around. Everybody liked to do that. So as a young man, we tried to encourage young men to get as much, ass as possible.
Right.
Stick your foot in it. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
But they're not telling you that emotionally, that's not gonna feed you. You still gonna be lonely as hell. So you could fuck 1,000 women in a week and you still gonna go home alone and feel lonely.
Exactly.
And broke, and you're gonna have a lot of different conversations. You ain't gonna never have really peace because women don't allow men to have peace and do what they want. Yeah. You either with them and they trying to cause a family. Like women have different.
Yeah. So how do you deal with those emotions as a man? Like, I've came a long way when it comes to growing as a man, especially when it comes to women and dealing with relationships. I was very young-minded. I guess you could call it insecure. Mm-hmm. So I came a long way when it comes to growth, especially when it's come to dealing with women. I'd say, how would you tell these young guys emotionally to deal with it? Because a lot of beef started in the streets because of a woman. Yeah. Somebody took this person woman, or this person, they was on a break, like they was on a little relationship break, and this dude had sex with this girl, and he found out. And the beef started from there. Now they shooting at each other, but it's all because of their feelings was hurt. They felt that pressure in their chest. How would you explain a way to tell them, it's okay to have those emotions. It's okay to let those emotions run through your body, but just don't do nothing